the way you shake it, I can't believe it. I ain't never seen a ass like that.
Hey there, sorry about the delay on this video. In my defense, not quite my fault because for those who are not familiar with what's going on, Cartoon Network has just basically abandoned the series. I think they might have just straight up just ditched the rights because even though there's been new episodes, they are just straight up just not airing them anymore. They're not even throwing them up for streaming on their website at all. The only place they're putting up new episodes is in Canada. They just completely dropped support for America. And I don't know what's going on with that, but unfortunately, I don't really have a lot of control of what I can do with this series right now. I had to go through a bunch of VPN nonsense just to get these episodes, and I lost a lot of the quality, unfortunately, for the video and the audio. The audio is not as bad as the earliest episodes, but still not quite as good as I'd like. So yeah, this kind of sucks. I have plans for moving forward, but this might be the last episode, and I'll be addressing this in the end of the video, so stick around for that, plus some other channel plans and exciting positive news at the very least in addition. With that said, let's move on to episode 21. In episode 21, it focuses on Rush, as you can probably guess based off the title of Rush to Greatness, and basically after his previous episode he got damaged, and now he's got repairs, he's got a bunch of new abilities where he can fly and stuff, which, why didn't you get that ability before? Who cares? Whatever, fine. And he wants to be a superhero, but he's not doing a very good job of it because he's getting distracted by smelling hydrants and by catching frisbees, or actually, excuse me, a fly puck.
Huh? A fly puck? A fly puck? A fly puck?
Come on, it's just a frisbee. It's not that complicated. We both know what it is. You don't gotta create a fancy name for it. And it's not even a puck. This is a puck. Does that look like puck? No. Anyways, Rush fights Aquaman, and it's like Man of Steel.
There's only one way this ends, Cal. Either you die, or I do.
And that's about it. Episode 22, Swish, begins with Namagem, which, if it wasn't obvious, is Mega Man backwards. And he's throwing a temper tantrum because he wants to kill Mega Man, but they're like, no, you can't go yet. You're not ready. You need to have some patience. We have a plan. We got to stick to it.
Have some goddamn faith.
Cut to the lighthouse, and Dr. Light made this new device, the Swish. And the Swish basically is like a portable generator of barriers. They have the bubble shields in Halo. And anyways, Mega Man's like, hey, can I go check out your lab? Dr. Light's like, no, you're not ready. Give it some time. You need to have some patience. Do you see where this is going? They're one and the same. Do you get it? If their names mean the same but backwards was not obvious enough, they're the same personality-wise too. And that's the whole point. They fight, and at the end, Mega Man learns a moral about patience, and that's it. There's some plot in episode 23 about Mega Mini getting separated from Mega Man and Blast a Woman and stuff like that. But that's not important. What's important is that this is a thing. Excuse me, what? In this whole episode is just so incredible, not because of the plot, not because of the characters, but because of the animation, or not even really the animation, but specific faces Mega Man makes throughout it. And there's a ton of these. The animators deserve so much credit for this because you don't appreciate these unless you're kind of going through them slowly like I was in editing, because they're only there for a frame or two at times, and they're so good. So I'm just going to show you a brief little montage of some of the best ones. Also, this happened.
Something's not quite right with this picture.
I'll say.
For the energy immediately, Mega Man.
But where is Dr. Wily?
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Episode 24, Cut Above, serves as our introduction to Cutman, and unfortunately he's just a bit bland. He's not quite the lovable idiot he was in the previous cartoon. which for those who have not seen the previous cartoon, highly recommend you watch. Cudman's Incompetent. I'll put a link to it in the description. Very good video, though. I see the excuse come up a lot of, oh, well, it's for kids. What are you expecting? And I don't like that excuse. Like, let's take the Mega series. These are games primarily aimed at children. I mean, they're very difficult compared to most other children's games, but they are still aimed at kids, and they are still fundamentally very good games. And they are very influential to the entire game industry and enjoyed by a lot of adults, including myself. I don't like that excuse at all. This episode, I think, is a good example of where that will actually apply, because it is not stimulating at all for an adult, but it is still competent. I will fully admit to being nitpicky, and that's intentional. I do not go into these episodes with kind of the perspective of oh, I'm seriously critiquing these. No, this is all meant to be very tongue-in-cheek. It's the reason why these are not labeled as reviews, because I'm just pointing out things that I think are funny or weird, and nothing more than that. However, that does not mean that the previous episodes were good, because they weren't. They are basically the greatest failures that you can do as a children's show, because even if you look at it from a child's perspective, they don't really make sense. Let's take episode 4 with Hydro Man, and Mega Man goes through his whole moral moment with Rush, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry for manipulating you. I won't do that again. But then he turns around and manipulates a Chick Hydro bot, and that's how he solves his problems. So what am I supposed to take away that from a child's perspective? That's confusing, and I don't know what else you could possibly make worse than that. And that's why the show is bad, because it's just poorly written, fundamentally. Regardless if it's a kid's show, I can take things just being very silly or nonsensical, but not your fundamental message. This episode is a good example of where it's competent and it's fine. I do not enjoy it as an adult, but I would not have a problem with a kid watching it. Episode 25 opens with a cutaway that, out of context of the show, kind of seems like Mega Man's about to get some action.
It's Mega time!
The rest of episode 25 focuses on the return again of Hypno Owen, and thankfully this time they're not flip-flopping on the subject. They're just yeah, mind control is bad. They fight because they say it's wrong, because she's trying to control this entire power plant, and then they fight by using each other's mind control powers to shoot each other with them. Not to control each other's minds, but as a physical attack. Apparently hypnosis is just a tangible thing in this universe. I don't understand how that works. And it's not just Mega Man's powers that can interact with her powers. Anybody can just touch them. Rush bites and pops them like a bubble. I don't know how that works, but sure. Oh yeah, and Mega Man has what appears to be a picture of Roll on his wall. So does Roll just exist in this universe but not as his sister? Because that's probably going to be the weirdest take in a series that has Wily as a child. Episode 26, This Man, focuses on Mega Man going out to stop a robbery, and when he's there, he meets Man. Man is basically this really lame, middle-aged, overweight guy who idolizes Mega Man. He wants to be like him, to the point of becoming a really crappy knockoff superhero based off him. And this whole gag character is almost funny, but it doesn't quite go far enough, because it's very obviously based off that original Mega Man art, which is just wonderful and how awful it is. But I don't think it captures why that cover is funny, because he's just kind of a lame guy dressed in crappy clothing, whereas that original Mega Man art, that wasn't a human being. That was some weird deformed homunculi of a human being. And if they tried to animate that I think that would have been a lot funnier. It was weird deformed arms and everything. So unfortunately it doesn't. And we just get a bunch of lame jokes like this.
I'll have to upgrade my Mega Masher to twice baked.
And then we get the worst standoff I've ever seen, because just shoot it. 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 Come on. Yeah, just shoot it. Just shoot it. Yeah, well, you could have just done that before. You didn't have to wait until he moved first. It would have been way quicker. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm just done with the show at this point. I think it's probably for the best that this was the last episode. Oh my god. What the hell? Oh my god. You know what? I think this show is actually all right. I changed my mind. And I'm not just saying that because of my vor fetish. So yeah, that's Mega Man Fully Charged. I wasn't quite expecting it to end on a note of me revealing the fact that I'm a filthy little tummy boy, but it is what it is. With that said, let's move on to channel plans. First off, I have a brand new series plan called That One Time, and the whole premise is me looking at weird and bad spin-offs of pre-existing IPs. So to give an example of something that I could do is That One Time Charles Barkley fought Godzilla. Now, I'm not doing that specifically because, believe it or not a whole lot of plot to that comic. So not a whole lot for me to work with. Just think what Mega Man Fully Charged is to Mega Man, but for other IPs. The first episode should be going up on Christmas Day because it's going to be Christmas themed, and after that it will be coming out every other Friday. I'm going to try and get it down to a weekly eventually, but currently I just don't have time to do that. But that's okay because I've got other content in addition to That One Time. However, it's all going to be going to my new Twitter account. And the reason I'm doing this is because it's very stylistically different from That One Time in the Mega Man videos, and just trying to focus those all into one thing. And I think Twitter's just going to be a better format for it anyways. So all of my smaller 3-minute and under videos will be going to Twitter from here on out. And I'm not going to be doing reviews anymore. I will be rebirthing them at some point, but I am just trying to focus on these videos for the time being. And I'm probably going to have that be its own separate thing from the Twitter and the YouTube account. I will announce that when I have more firm details on that, but that's going to be down the road. Finally, I just want to say thank you so much for, I guess, bearing with me. Prior to this channel, I never really done any of the things I'm currently doing. I never tried to do any vocal recording. I never done any video editing. I didn't even know Vegas was not owned by Sony anymore. Never tried to capture footage or just any of the things I am doing now. So I recognize my content still has a long way to go before it even approaches decency. So just thank you for sticking with it while I learn the ropes. And also thank you just for enjoying what I make. You guys have no idea how fulfilling it is that people are liking what I make. I appreciate it so much. So yeah, I guess have a wonderful day. And check out my Twitter, which I'll put a link to in the description. And check out That One Time on Christmas Day.